Our final topic this week, we're going to look at the governor's decision to sign a bill banning the funding of Planned Parenthood in Indiana. Something that was quite controversial. There were some questions, Doug and Mark, whether he would indeed sign the bill, because while it follows kind of his social conservative beliefs, it goes against his fiscal responsibility beliefs, in that it will cost the state millions of dollars.
Right, and that's millions in terms of federal money
Right.
coming in. But also, you know, if you try to think long range, it could cost the state in the long run too, because, you know, taking money away from contraception, for instance, you know, we'll set the abortion issue aside for now, but taking money away from contraception means you're going to have more children born, and presumably, you know, more children in, frankly, if they need the assistance in getting contraception, then you're going to have children who will be more in need of social services, and that's going to cost you more in the long run.
Maybe it's a good thing we went to full-day kindergarten.
There's some truth to that.
Right, and you know, there are some questions. Federal funds by law, due to the Hyde Amendment, cannot go to fund abortion. So none of these funds were going to abortion anyway.
Right.
But it basically cuts them off from all these other services now. It costs the state $3 million, I think, is what the state was getting from Planned Parenthood. There's talk that it could be as much as $4 million, you know, the impact of this. So is that money that's just not going to be funded, or is the state going to make it up? What happens here?
Of course, pro-life forces would argue that even though the money didn't go directly towards abortions, what it did was it ended up subsidizing abortions, because it freed up money from different state sources to then fund abortions. So it'll be interesting to see what, if any, impact that is.
Well, that's kind of like saying, you know, I don't believe in using nuclear weapons, so therefore I shouldn't pay my federal taxes. You know, it's like, you know, come on, you know, there's just part of a cost of living in life today.
And the other component here, working in the background, obviously, Mitch Daniels was in Washington, D.C. this week, and all eyes are on him as to whether he's going to run for president. The thinking was that this move by him really does a lot to shore up his conservative credentials, social conservative credentials, which had taken a hit in recent.
Yeah, I was just going to ask that. I was going to say, do you think that that his you know, he's been rather coy about the presidential issue.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this is a further indication that he may be eyeing the presidency?
I think it would indicate that.
Right.
I think if he hadn't signed this bill, I think that would have been a sure indication that he wasn't seeking the presidency, because I think he almost had to. If he wants to survive a Republican primary, he's got to demonstrate his conservative credentials on these issues.
Well, and this is kind of the funny thing. You've got to survive the Republican primary process, which, you know, the Republicans are now skewing pretty conservative, much more so probably than, you know, the country as a whole. So you've got to get a candidate to get through the primary process and be approved by the Republicans, but you've also then got to get a candidate who can survive in November of 2012 as well. And you're going to have to win over a lot of moderates and independents to make that work. So with Obama, you know, having this success with bin Laden, it all hinges on the economy. We'll just see what the economy does.
Yeah, it absolutely does.
Of course, you always got to wonder how much is the bin Laden thing going to be effective in November of 2012. And we're still a year and a half away from that. The American people have very short memories.
There's a long time ago. I mean, this is kind of the frame, not too far from the time frame when George H.W. Bush won the Gulf War and had huge approval ratings. We all know what happened to him in '92. So
Right.
we'll see.